Why have you not become great yet? Foolishness is not a curse placed upon you at birth, nor is it an immutable fate written in the stars. It is a choice, a quiet submission, a slow decay disguised as comfort. It does not arrive as thunder, nor does it strike as lightning. It seeps into the soul like a sweet poison, numbing the will, softening the fire, and replacing the hunger for conquest with the dull ache of contentment. You were not born for mediocrity, yet here you stand, drowning in the stagnant waters of triviality. You entertain yourself with distractions, fill the silence with empty words, and mistake the absence of suffering for happiness. But happiness is not the absence of struggle, it is the conquest of it. The weak seek shelter in ignorance, wrapping themselves in the warmth of illusions, calling their own chains security. The strong, however, tear themselves apart and forge themselves anew, for they know that suffering is the anvil upon which greatness is shaped. Every second you waste in complacency is a silent betrayal of the power that sleeps within you. You could rise, you could transcend, you could burn brighter than the sun itself, yet you settle for embers, flickering in the wind of your own excuses. The path to greatness is neither kind nor forgiving. It will strip you of your comforts, mock your hesitations, and demand everything from you. It does not pity those who hesitate, nor does it wait for those who linger. You either seize it with both hands, or you are forgotten. There is no middle ground. There is no safety. There is only a choice to remain among the nameless, or to carve your existence into eternity. And so I ask not for your answer, but for your decision. Will you dare to break free from the prison of your own making, or will you rot in it, calling your decay a life well lived? You argue with fools. To descend into the pit and wrestle with swine is to coat yourself in filth, no matter how noble your intentions. The fool does not seek truth. He seeks only the satisfaction of his own noise. His words are not weapons sharpened by reason, but blunt stones hurled in all directions, striking nothing, achieving nothing. And yet you answer. You step into the arena, believing that reason, like a torch, can illuminate the dark abyss of ignorance. But ignorance is not an absence of light. It is a rejection of it. What do you hope to gain? A victory? But victory over a fool is no victory at all. It is a meaningless duel, a contest where the only prize is exhaustion. The fool does not listen. He does not learn. He does not evolve. He thrives in confusion, feeds on discord, and drags all who engage with him into the swamp of his own making. The longer you remain, the deeper you sink. And then, without noticing, you become what you once opposed. Your patience turns to irritation. Your clarity dissolves into frustration. Your wisdom mutates into mockery. And in that moment, the difference between you and him disappears. The fool does not fear being wrong, for he has no desire to be right, only to be heard. His mind is a fortress built of weak stone, but no force of logic will tear it down. He does not build, he does not climb. He only pulls others downward, so that they may share his ruin. There is no wisdom in battling the mindless. To argue with them is not to educate, not to enlighten, but to degrade yourself to their level. Walk away, not because you cannot fight, but because the battle itself is beneath you. To waste breath on the deaf, to cast light into the abyss, is to betray your own greatness. Let them speak into the void. Let them drown in their own noise. The strong do not waste words on those who do not deserve them. You complain about circumstances instead of changing them. The weak curse the storm, the strong adjust their sails. The difference between them is not fate, not fortune, not the mercy of the heavens. It is will. The will to act, the will to shape, the will to refuse submission. You sit in a room filled with stale air, suffocating under the weight of your own inaction, yet instead of rising to open the window, you lament the lack of fresh breeze. You call the world unfair, cruel, indifferent. But tell me, when has the world ever promised you fairness? When has it ever bowed to those who merely weep for better days? The gods, if they exist, laugh at those who beg for change but fear to seize it. They do not grant power to those who kneel in complaint, but to those who rise, teeth bared, fists clenched, ready to carve their will into reality. The world does not stop you. It does not care enough to stop you. It is not an enemy. nor is it an ally. It is an indifferent field of battle, waiting to be conquered by those who dare to take the first step. Your suffering is not unique. Your struggles are not sacred. They are bricks in the road that leads either to greatness or to oblivion. And the direction of that road is not decided by fate, nor by gods, nor by the weight of history. It is decided by you. If you wish to remain among the nameless, let the wind of circumstance carry you where it will. But if you wish to stand above, if you wish to shape, command, and define, then stop waiting. Stop whining. Stand up and change the air you breathe. The world belongs to those who refuse to complain about it. You surrender power over yourself to others. Look at your hands. Do you see the strings? They are there, whether you acknowledge them or not. Pulled by unseen forces, guided by expectations, dictated by voices that are not your own. You move, you speak, you obey, not by choice, but by design. Society, tradition, fear, and the quiet, suffocating pressure of the collective will, these are the hands that hold your strings. And you, like a marionette, dance to a tune you did not compose. You think yourself free, but tell me, when was the last time you acted without seeking permission? Without waiting for approval? Without glancing sideways afraid of judgment? You wear chains and call them duty. You silence your own desires and call it wisdom. You let others think for you, command you, own you. And the worst part? You allow it. You surrender your own kingdom without a fight. But there is another way, a violent, terrifying way. To tear the strings, to silence the voices, to kill the puppet, so that the master within you may be born. It is a death, but a necessary one, the death of the obedient, the death of the tamed, the death of the version of yourself that bows. And from that death something greater arises, a being that answers to no one, that carves its own law into the stone of existence, that does not wait for permission to be powerful. If you do not cut the strings, they will only tighten. If you do not claim yourself, someone else will. There is no middle ground, no compromise, no peaceful servitude. You are either master or you are owned. Choose. You believe that knowledge without action means something. A book left unread, a blade never drawn, fire without heat. This is what knowledge becomes when it is not lived. You hoard wisdom like a miser hoards gold, believing that possession alone grants power. You read, you listen, you gather words upon words, philosophies upon philosophies, but tell me, what have you done with them? Have they changed the way you move, the way you breathe, the way you strike at life itself? Or do they sit in your mind like statues in an abandoned temple, silent, motionless, useless? The greatest truths, if they do not become your flesh, your instinct, your unshakable reality, are no better than lies. Knowing the path is nothing if your feet never touch the ground. You admire those who act, those who carve their will into the world, but you fail to see that the only difference between them and you is movement. They did not wait until they knew everything. They took what little they understood and turned it into a weapon. They did not waste their days sharpening a sword they were too afraid to wield. You stand at the edge, looking down into the abyss of action, afraid to leap. You tell yourself you need more preparation, more learning, more time. But time is not your ally. It is the slow erosion of all potential, devouring you second by second while you hesitate. If knowledge has not made you move, it has failed you. Or worse, you have failed it. There is only one proof that wisdom is real. Action. Not thoughts, not plans, not theories. Only what is done matters. And if you do nothing, then all you claim to know is dust. You work for money, not for meaning. The slave trades his hours for coins, believing he is free. He wakes, he labors, he is paid. His body moves, but his soul rots. He measures his worth in wages, his purpose in tasks completed, his existence in numbers that are never enough. And so he runs, faster, harder, pushing the wheel that grinds him to dust, all while dreaming that one day he will finally have enough to start living. But enough never comes. The master does not sell his time. He bends time to his will. He does not work for money. He makes money serve his work. His hands do not toil for survival, but carve meaning into existence itself. While the slave asks, "How much will they pay me?" The master asks, "What will I create?" The former fears hunger, the latter fears insignificance, and so one chases wages while the other builds eternity. You were not born to be a cog in a machine, yet here you are, turning with the rest, hoping for weekends, dreaming of retirement, waiting for permission to live. But eternity does not wait. It is claimed. It is built by those who refuse to trade life for mere survival. The choice is before you, to sell your soul by the hour or to forge something that cannot be measured, cannot be bought, and cannot die. You seek easy happiness. You have been deceived. They have told you that happiness is comfort, that it is pleasure without pain, laughter without struggle, warmth without fire. And so you chase it like a beggar chasing scraps, filling your days with distractions, numbing your mind with entertainment, avoiding anything that demands effort, risk, or suffering. You want happiness to be effortless, and in doing so you ensure that it remains out of reach. True happiness is not given, it is conquered. It is not found in passive indulgence, but in relentless overcoming. It is the mountain climbed, the fear faced, the weakness destroyed. It is the fire that burns away the lesser self so that something greater may emerge. You do not stumble upon it in comfort, you forge it in the heat of battle. The child seeks play, the man seeks purpose. The first drifts wherever pleasure pulls him, never questioning, never resisting. The second marches through fire, through pain, through the abyss of his own limits, and emerges stronger, sharper, alive in a way the pleasure seeker will never understand. You can spend your life chasing easy joy, and you will find it, briefly, in fleeting moments. But it will slip through your fingers like sand, leaving you emptier than before. Or you can take the harder path, the path where every step demands your strength, your will, your very soul. It is there, and only there, that true happiness waits, not as a gift, but as a prize for those who dare to take it. You believe the world owes you something. The world is not your mother. It does not cradle you. It does not comfort you. It does not whisper reassurances in the dark. It owes you nothing. Not success, not fairness, not even survival. And yet, you stand with open hands, waiting for some invisible force to grant you what you believe you deserve. But who told you that you deserve anything at all? The weak curse the sky for being vast, the sea for being deep, the mountains for being high. They wait for the world to bend, to soften, to yield to their weakness. But the world does not yield. It does not care. It is not a servant, it is an arena, a place where the strong carve their will into existence, where the bold take without apology, where those who hesitate are trampled into dust. If you want something, take it. If you cannot take it, then you were never meant to have it. That is the only law, the only justice. You can scream at the heavens, demand fairness, demand kindness, but the wind will carry your cries into nothingness. Or you can step forward, claim what is yours through sweat, through struggle, through power. There are only two kinds of people, those who fight and those who beg. If you are not willing to take, then step aside. The world will not wait for you. Conclusion: the world does not wait. It does not care for your complaints, your fears, or your hesitation. You either rise, carve your own path, take what is yours, or you fade into nothing. The choice is always yours. Now go. Not to think, not to dream, but to act. The strong do not wait.